Replace this model here because okay. In this episode, we're gonna install the camera and the VTX. Before we do that, you might notice that there are some changes. Because the Chameleon frame is only 20 millimeters tall, there's not a lot of space for stacking. I miscalculated a little bit for this model, but I fixed it and I installed the new version. And I also added a little hole where the buzzer cable can enter and exit on the other side and go into these pads here. So yeah, it's also better. Let's get started. So this is the VTX we're gonna install, VTX Unify Pro Race. This is our camera, Swift 2, TBS antenna. This is the cable for the VTX, and this is the cable for the camera. We're gonna insert our VTX like so, mounted on this model here. So this is TX6 and this is RX6. This is the UART that we're gonna use for our VTX. Unfortunately, we don't have a 10 volt out on this flight controller, so we have to directly connect our VTX to the battery. Let's get some solder. Now we're gonna screw this VTX in. Cut these wires in half. I'm gonna cut off like yay much. Use these wire strippers to get rid of the plastic. Okay. I decided to solder the wires first before I mount my VTX. Tin the ends. Okay, so let's connect our VCC. So let's heat up the pad and bring in the wire. And now ground. So now we have power. The next step would be our video. Video comes in through the camera, goes through the flight controller, and the flight controller puts on the on-screen display and all of those stuff that you use to control your flight controller. And then the output of that video comes through this pin, the video pin, goes to your VTX, that transmits it to your goggles. So we need to take our yellow wire here, which is video, in and connect it to this pin. So let's put some solder on this pin and connect that wire. The next step is to grab the wire with tweezers and connect it. Okay, that's good. That is good. And next, we're gonna connect our smart audio. The smart audio goes to a transmit UART. This is TX6, so we're gonna use TX6. Pre-tin the pad. Now pre-tin the wire. Always pre-tin the wire. And there we go. All our wires are connected. The next step is to attach the VTX. We need small screws like this. Okay, we got our 4 screws. That's one. And the second one. Third one. And last but not least, the 4th and the last screw. Check it out. How pretty that looks. Insane. So we have our smart audio, we have our video, and we have our power in. Positive goes to the VCC pad and the negative goes to any ground. Next, we're gonna add our camera. We need 5 volts, ground, and video. That's it. That's all this camera needs. We're gonna use this video in where it says camera. Cam. This is ground and this is 5 volts. So these are the 3 pads that I'm gonna connect the camera to. Cam, ground, 5 volts. Let's pre-tin those pads. I'm gonna use the entire length of this cable because the Armattan Chameleon frame has this cage that's gonna connect like so here. So we need a lot of cabling to get to our camera. So, okay, that's good. Now ground. And now video in. There we go. Let's see the camera connect. So check this out. We have all the parts that we need. This is what we got so far. The video comes in here to this camera, goes into this pin. On-screen display gets overlaid on the video. That signal gets outputted here on this yellow wire, goes into our VTX and gets transmitted to our goggles. Next, we're gonna assemble the frame, configure everything in Betaflight and do it.